they offer me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay.
If I enter like an oral motion of dismissal based on constitutional grounds, are you standing on your constitutional oath?
That
Yeah,
may
it says automobile, horse, drawn wagon, or carriage.
Okay,
So an automobile is not necessarily a car if it's a household good.
But
I mean, an
automobile
automobile was actually created before a driver's license was ever created.
All right, guys. Today we've got a wild court hearing featuring yet another sovereign citizen pulling the same old nonsense. This dude is actually standing in court, claiming he wasn't driving, he was traveling. Like, come on, bro, we all know that's not how the law works. And if that wasn't bad enough, he will not shut up. He just rambles nonstop, throwing out random legal jargon like it's some kind of magic spell that's going to get him off the hook. But honestly, the judge in this case is way too soft. She could have shut him down way harder. Let me know in the comments, do you guys think the judge was too lenient, or was she handling it the right way? Let's dive in and watch this sovereign citizen embarrass himself.
You hear me?
Yes, okay. I hear you.
So you're before the court on 2019 CR 04954 for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, failure to display license, or failure to have license on person. I'm not sure, it cuts off, and no tag or expired or invalid tag. So that's on the first case. On the case from 2020 03114, you have a suspended or revoked license. You're represented by Lister and Holt on one of the cases, but not on the other. Did you want Lister and Holt to represent you, or did you want to represent yourself?
I'll represent myself.
On both cases?
Yes, ma'am. I have a quick question as far as locker term when it comes to driver's license.
Okay.
Okay, you're only allowed to have one driver's license, and I have an Alabama driver's license. So when I get pulled over, I actually show them my Alabama driver's license, and it's current. It's the most current, and so they make a determination if they should go off the Georgia driver's license or the Alabama driver's license. And when I present the Alabama driver's license, they let me go because my Alabama license is valid, and you're only allowed to have one. And I had Alabama license first, so
I believe this sounds like a not guilty.
Okay, so Mr. Resto, what Mr. Taylor is saying is this is something that you could prove at trial. If you present that information at trial, then that means you want to go to trial instead of taking a plea. I don't know what the recommendation is, and I don't know.
Well, the recommendation was, I think I've been dealing with this case for an awful long time now, so yeah. I don't really want to go to trial. I just want to get it behind me. But I think that I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay, no, Mr. Resto, it's more than that. So
This dude is really out here trying to negotiate in a pre-hearing like he's at a flea market or something. I honestly don't blame the judge and prosecutor for laughing at him. This is peak sovereign citizen nonsense. It's wild that people like this actually exist, and the fact that he said it all with a straight face? Unreal. Honestly, I could not imagine being a judge and having to deal with clowns like this every single day. I'd be throwing out contempt charges left and right. But real talk, this prosecutor? Hilarious. His reactions and little remarks are making this way more entertaining. Let me know what you guys think about him so far, and let's dive back in.
No, it's more than that. So the basic fines and fees for driving on a suspended license is the first time in 5 years. If you get one, then you can enter a NOLO plea if you have a NOLO plea eligible to you, and then the fine is $500. But if you get a second one, the fine goes to $1,000. A third one, the fine goes to $1,500 and 10 days mandatory jail time. You have a second one, which means that you might be able to enter a NOLO to the first one, but then the second one is outstanding. So when you took a plea to the second one, that would definitely suspend your license. So that's what's on the table.
Okay, now if I enter like an oral motion of dismissal based on constitutional grounds, are you standing on your constitutional oath?
Okay, I'm not sure what that is. So I have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and to make sure that I treat people as the law would direct me to do so. So,
Okay. Well, I asked this question previously when I was in your courtroom one day in regards to the right to travel under the 14th Amendment, stating that citizens do not need a permit to travel with a horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile without interference by police. And I was on a public highway actually when I got pulled over.
okay, so that's not actually in the Constitution.
And I
So the
don't
right to
believe
travel, the right
automobiles
to
were
travel.
around when the 14th Amendment was ratified.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I just wanted to point out to the court that automobiles hadn't been invented when the 14th Amendment was ratified. That
Yeah,
may have been a fact.
it says automobile, horse-drawn wagon, or carriage.
Okay,
So
so
an
Mr.
automobile is not necessarily a car if it's a household good. It's just a form of transportation. It doesn't matter if it's an automobile, horse-drawn wagon, or carriage, because it's still a form of transportation, and citizens have the right to travel without interference by police. So I don't even know how the police are even allowed to interfere with travel when I'm not using my vehicle for commerce.
Your Honor,
And it's
Hold
a
on, Mr.
totally
Taylor.
private household good.
Yeah, I seriously don't get why the judge isn't shutting this sovereign citizen down already. Judges have every right to be firm in their courtroom. It's literally their job to keep things moving and stop people from wasting time with nonsense like this. You can see the prosecutor practically begging the judge to wrap it up, but she's just letting it happen. Like, why? She has all the control in this situation, yet she refuses to use it. People like this shouldn't get more than 30 seconds in a hearing, but instead, they drag it on for 20+ minutes. And this is exactly why the court system is so backed up. Is this a hot take or something? Because I feel like nobody really talks about this. Should the judge be more firm, or is she handling it just fine? Honestly, I don't even know at this point. Let's dive back in and see where this goes.
Okay, so Mr. Resto, if somebody drove 100 miles an hour into the back of your vehicle and killed your a family member, would you want the police to interfere?
That's a murder. I mean, that's if someone got killed.
But they're traveling. You can't interfere with somebody traveling.
No, I mean you can't. It's stating that a police just can't interfere with your traveling, like pulling you over for a traffic violation or a tag.
But you
You're
want them
not.
to
You can't.
interfere if
Now,
somebody.
if you murder somebody because of
Well,
sovereign,
okay, say you don't murder them. Say you just hurt them. Say you just damaged the vehicle. You don't want the police to interfere.
no, that because that's when it almost becomes like an accident or a crime or whatnot. So the police can. That's not really an interference. An interference with your traveling, not an interference when two citizens engage in an accident. It's interfering with you just traveling. Now, police officers, as far as public servants, they have a duty to serve to the people. So if a car accident occurs, then of course public servants, as far as ambulance, as far as firemen, they will come to the scene just as a service. But for you to just interfere in my traveling is actually a violation of the Constitution.
Well, sir, the Constitution and the cases that have come out of the constitutional jurisprudence allow cities and states and municipal organizations to regulate travel for the benefit of the citizens. So they can put reasonable regulations on travel, meaning you can have a license. They can grant you the privilege of having a license to drive. They can regulate how your license is seen. If you don't have a license or if your license is suspended, they can intervene to take your license away or your privilege to drive away. It is a crime. You can be convicted of not driving under a proper license. So the government is allowed to intervene in a lot of ways with people traveling. So I'm not sure where this information comes from, but there's a lot of stuff on the internet about traveling and the 14th Amendment and horse and buggies and even maritime law. But
I mean,
an
an automobile was actually created before a driver's license was ever created.
This sovereign citizen really just said that automobiles were invented before driver's licenses. So driver's licenses aren't constitutional. Are you kidding me? First off, just because something existed before a law was passed doesn't mean that law doesn't apply. That's like saying, well, the IRS didn't exist when the first person made money, so taxes aren't real. Like what? Driver's licenses are 100% constitutional. They're literally there to make sure people know how to drive safely and follow the rules of the road. It's really not that hard to understand, and it's not even expensive to get one. It's all about public safety and order. The idea that you can just ignore a law because it wasn't there when something was invented is pure nonsense. Like, is this guy mentally ill, or does he actually think this argument makes sense? I seriously can't tell.
So people was actually operating their case pamphlets where people was actually operating vehicles before a driver's license ever became. That's actually, you guys are actually a conflict of interest, actually, as far as you being in cahoots with the DMV. That's a totally separate entity.
Okay,
and for
so
some
Mr.
reason,
Resto, do you want to resolve the case? Because it's not
I want to resolve the
40
case.
hours.
I disagree with the fine amount because it changed. I would I would make an offer like I can do $1,000, maybe 12-month probation.
Mr.
But $2,000, that's excessive.
Mr. Resto, we're not negotiating. Those are statutory fines, meaning they're written into the law. I can't even change them.
Can I make a counter offer to the state and say it's $1,000? Can I be?
No,
because I did do
sir.
time in jail. If the state would see that and count.
That's why I'm saying that you may want to speak with an attorney, because certain things that they can negotiate, I can't change the statute. I can't change what's written in it, but they can negotiate. And if the solicitor wants to give you credit for time in jail in lieu of the fine, those are things that they can do that I can't do.
Yeah. So I would ask to the district attorney, knowing that I did serve some days in jail, can you guys lower the fine and I just go ahead and end this case right now? I can do 1,000. I got $1,000 right now.
Mr. Resto, so that's a conversation that you need to have with them directly without me being present, number one. Number two, the reason I keep saying you might want to go through your attorney is because they can explain to you what is already on the table and how that may or may not change, okay?
What's on the table now, man?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I would rather you have that conversation in a breakout room with the attorney who's assigned to your case and with the state, as opposed to here in the main room. One, because I have other cases that need to be addressed, and two, because that's not information I need to hear.
Okay, is it anything I can do to get this case resolved now? Because it's been lingering on.
I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening, Mr. Reston. Mr. Resto,
I mean, today, I want to resolve this today.
I get that you want to resolve it today, and I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening to me. I said you can go into a breakout room with your attorney, and the attorney and you can discuss what's already on the table. And then if your attorney wishes to speak with the state to clarify anything, they can do that too. But you're not going to get it resolved by going back and forth with me, because there's stuff I cannot do.
Okay. Just tell the state that I'll take their recommendation. I'll just pay the $2,000 if they can give me 12 months to pay it off. And if I pay it off early, if my probation can be terminated, that would be cool.
And that's the last we heard from that guy for the day. This sovereign citizen literally just walked out of his own hearing. Man facepalming. I'm pretty sure the judge issued a bench warrant for him after he just dipped like that, but don't worry, I've got his second court appearance coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Let's be real, though, this was just a classic case of a sovereign citizen trying to weasel out of a $2,000 fine. Like, dude, it's not like the court is just gonna forget about the fine because you said you were traveling and not driving. That's not how laws work. Honestly, I don't even feel like ranting at this point. This guy completely drained my brain cells. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this court hearing. Was the judge too soft? Because I honestly think she was, and I want to know if that's a hot take or not. Also, if you enjoy these reaction videos and want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I really appreciate all your support, and if you guys have any recommendations for other crazy court hearings to check out, drop them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everyone.